Genetic store of knowledge transferred to generations. Parinamay Tattva Vastu Tattvam. The impressions of results are deep rooted in the mind and travel through genetically everywhere, irrespective of time, boundaries, and spaces, all over the world. It compels you to perform according to impressions. The impression is memory, therefore, species perform for thousands of generations the same kind and endures pain and pleasure accordingly. Therefore, programming mind is possible with retention, meditation, and absorption at plain and silent mind. Niruddha. The impression recorded at mind be driven repeatedly and prolonged can cause the activation of some process. Janma Aushadhi Mantra Tapa Samadhija Siddhayaha. The extraordinary changes take place in the body, mind and senses are due to 5 reasons. Number 1. Inborn qualities. Some are born with extraordinary intellect or skills like mathematics, encyclopedia or gymnastics that comes genetically through the ancestors. This shows that the special powers have developed with ancestors could be possible to have delivered to the successor genetically. Ancestors had acquired these powers through the same technique. Medication. Some shine with high-tech medicines such as steroids or doping with cannabis or drugs. Incantation. Some develop in incantation and mass mesmerism. Incantation is excellent memory driver. It stimulates the process of surfacing the memorized impressions and this must be used to develop grasp. Penance and retention with meditation. Absorption. Samadhi. Some develop through meditations and absorption. Probably this is the best technique used by reptiles and insects to cause genetic changes, therefore best suited for programming mind and acquire better powers. To carry forward memory is the requirement for life. Now, after considering the nature's techniques, we find that it is the memory, ego and mind that are primarily used for creating memory and intelligence. The intelligence also is the substance stored at memory. The memory is genetically transferred to next generation. As such, memory is eternal. In absence of memory, living of a living being would be impossible. If memory be made readable, a large data of generations will explain the history of epochs. The most possible way to find memory might be with DNA because all other details like race, color, genetic store of knowledge is available with the same. While transferring everything to the next generation, previous identity must have been blocked or not accessible or zipped. Because if the sperm is transferring data, it was in a continuous process. The knowledge in a continuous process therefore cannot be destroyed and must be available. It is possible that Egyptian mummies were preserved for thousands of years till the revival technique is brought into practice and memory from their residuals is made available to them for continued further living. Why dead were mummified? Because perhaps it was presumed that someone knowing high technology and may arrive to revive the dead and the revived will continue further with their stored memory. The mummies were preserved in the pyramids to ensure its safe custody for thousands of years. The life therefore is memory. However, yoga says memory is not readable and not stealable to others at any living being. अनुभूत विषया संप्रमोश स्मृति. Neural networks drive memory to surface impressions is a peaceful situation. Memory is neither readable nor can be stolen at any living being. Therefore, as and when memory creation technique is understood and the memory reading at living being is developed, the revolution at genetic engineering will occur, overturning all previous concepts. A new era of the life may start. What are nature's techniques pertaining to memory and the ways to find them, either through yoga, science or spirituality? So far, no person has shown any progress except the science. This will come out with some inventions, but yoga says retention, meditations and absorption is the way you can drive memory and program your mind. Chitta or display pad decides to trigger emotions, actions and or everything on switching from ego. This is associated as a switching mechanism where an emotional weighing is done when the information is displayed or display pad chitta. Ego has a research and development section embedded to make continuous research and development with the help of intelligence, helping to trigger switching of emotions. These are feelings, desires and thoughts pertaining to fear, anger, greed, attachment, pride and jealousy all together. When the information is received every moment, it is analyzed by the intelligence through continuous scanning the memory. This is to be weighed in the ego level by comparing the ego threshold. The R&D at ego stimulates the display pad for switchovers of emotions, feelings, desires and thoughts. The think tank is always at work and never rests, neither retires. Systems of the mind. To detain the vrittis or tendencies of mind is a lengthy process. Ego is the step where perception of identity of self-being is conceived. A beggar may have a less or lower ego threshold than a dacoit. An officer will have a more ego threshold than his subordinate. A singer while singing or a lawyer while arguing at court will always try to bring superior or modified version to please and dominate the situation, depending upon ego. This is due to continuous R&D by ego. Mind is neurocommunication, the interface between brain software drivers and body. Mind must reach the information to the concerning organ and execute the orders of brain software for both inward and outward transactions. Mind has the capability of reception and transmission of coded commands through neural network. When any information comes to mind, it transports the same to display pad or think pad, chitta. Chitta has to perceive the same on consent from ego and then store it in memory. Neural networking is chemoelectric transmitters and receptors that constitutes mind. Everything that comes in the form of information must be stored in memory protein. Intelligence, ego all work simultaneously where intelligence acts as a tool. This is a biological language of operating software. If we imagine an event where one is going on motorcycle on a known road, his mind is not attentive, still he travels balancing his body against gravity, crossing obstacles and reaching destination.